So, Black Women Rock here.
Yeah.
What was the vision? How did that relationship build? How did you connect it?
I started 20 years ago, and I'm working now on bringing it back to Atlanta. I'm very excited. It's my 20th anniversary. 20 years ago. Thank you. 20 years ago, I started. Now I was producing for the National Black Arts Festival. They had a great festival. Then it was annual. Everybody was coming to National Black Arts Festival then. And this is 2004. And I wanted to do a festival that brought some of the women that I knew in New York that did rock and funk music. I felt like that energy was missing from the festival. There was an edginess that wasn't there. And I was like, so I brought Imani Uzuri, Divinity Rocks, Timber Kali. That time I was bringing everybody's bands. So it wasn't like the Black Women Rock Orchestra yet. It was everybody, and a lot of women, a lot of us play with dudes. So we're guilty of also playing with too many men. And so we all bringing our bands. I showed Afro Punk the film, and I put Betty Davis's picture was big on the flyer, and it said Black Women Rock, tribute to Betty. I ain't doing nothing different, except I got rid of the guys. And we had a conversation. Marcia Jones was painting live on stage. It was beautiful, and we did a variety playhouse. So I'm working now to bring it back to Atlanta, where home base, where it started this year. Yeah.
And here, the flavor and the relationship at the museum.
Juanita Moore. God bless. I miss her so much. Juanita. Well, I did it. I brought it to, I had been home for a couple of years, and I said, I did this thing in Atlanta called Black Women Rock. It was really amazing. I would love to bring it to the Charles H. Wright Museum. And Juanita was like, okay, a rock concert in the Charles H. Wright Museum. I was like, a rock concert. It's an educational piece because Black women created rock and roll music. And we're the foundation of this music. It's the blues sped up. So I did my pitch thing to Juanita, and she said yes. And so the first one was free. We gave it away. It was packed to the point of fire code, and it was lots of all kinds of white folks showed up too, because I said Betty Davis, and Betty Davis has a cult following, and people who love funk and rock music and know their history, they know that she is an icon, and she was with us until 2022. When I did it first in Atlanta, her best friend Connie, who's my people now, called me and said, Betty Davis wants you to know, Jessica, that because she heard about it, because I didn't do it in my garage. I did it at the National Black Arts Festival. It was a huge festival at the time, and she's living in Pittsburgh at the time, and she wants you to know she's alive. I was like, tell Betty Davis that I know she's alive, and that I know she lives in Pittsburgh, and can she come? So I've been trying to get Betty Davis to come out for 20 years, but I gave up about a decade ago, to be honest, because I realized that she wasn't comfortable. She was a recluse, and so she became in spirit like a North Star. She wrote me letters and gave me cards, and
beautiful.
Oh my God, and I was gifted. So in her obituary, because I was asked to be at her funeral the weekend we had done Black Women Rock in Detroit in 2022, and that funeral was that Sunday. So I did Black Women Rock, then flew to be with her. I'm like literally, holding her best friend's hand and looking at Betty's picture, and I'm walked in and I know I look like her, and that's how I got to know Betty Davis in New York, is because Amir from The Roots, people know this story, but, Questlove was at a gig at the Wetlands, and he looked at me backstage and said, you smile with Betty Davis teeth. And I was like, thought he was flirting with me or whatever, and I was like, what, you saying something cute? He said, you know what Betty Davis I'm talking about? I was like, I know you ain't talking about that white actress, so let me look her up.
Hilarious.
And I looked her up, and Talib was like, yo, you do remind me of Betty Davis, big afro, and she looked like she could be my fine auntie, right? Same tribe. So I fell in love with her non-story. This black woman that helped Miles Davis be better, that unloosened his tie, that really helped create jazz fusion in an indirect way, or a direct way for that matter. Because these relationships that women like me and women like Betty Davis have with men really do shift things in culture.